see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 889 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's May 25th, 2026, Memorial Day Monday. This morning I'm enjoying a fresh cup of light Nicaraguan from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10. That's LOTS10. And shipping is always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, we've got another packed show, anniversary week updates with Corey and a bunch of cab in progress. Whatever the hell happened in the Massie Kentucky primary. Another peaceful week in the Middle East. Yeah, And apparently the enhanced games are officially becoming a thing now. Grab your coffee, smash the like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Not sure how many people have dropping in with holiday weekend today, but I thought I would fire up the show anyway. It's Monday, and that's what I do. So here we are, enjoying this fresh, light Nicaraguan. Oh man, it's a fantastic cup, and really enjoying it. Corey had the week off for. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a little bit, but every week for around our anniversary, she takes the whole week off. And so we got to sit down and enjoy coffee and tea together in the morning before we got rolling out to the cabin to work. And I've been enjoying this Nicaraguan all week. If you don't know what kind of coffee, air roasted coffee is, I just take a second to talk about it. Two different types of coffee. I've talked about them on the show before. Drum roasted coffee, air roasted coffee. Drum roasted coffee, it's in a big metal drum, usually commercial sized, or even personal sized, smaller batch, but metal drum, beans go in the drum, roll around in the drum, contacting it. Heater heats up the air and the drum, so the metal in the drum obviously is getting hot, and as the beans roll around in there, they get roasted. Well, one problem with that is it's touching that hot metal and it's burning the outside of the bean. It's where you get a lot of a burnt taste. I don't know if you've ever had like Starbucks coffee, particularly to me, tastes almost burnt when you have it. That's the char on the outside of the bean, and there's some adverse health effects and just the taste, and it's just not my thing. So once I found air roasted coffee, and Food Forest Farms does exactly that, and they do it in small batch. I think it's a pound or two at a time. Brian roasts. Can't remember how big his roaster is, but it is definitely small, considered micro batch in an air roaster. And what the air roaster does is it runs a hot stream of air up through the beans, and they almost float in the stream of air. So there's no metal contact of hot metal over roasting, burning the outside of that bean. So you don't drink the char, you don't have that char in your coffee. It doesn't taste burnt, it tastes fresh and clean. A lot of the nuanced flavors of the beans come out. If you've never tried air roasted coffee, never tried premium coffee, I suggest heading over to foodforestfarms.com. That's food, F-O-O-D, forest, F-O-R-E-S-T, farms, F-A-R-M-S, farms.com. And check out a bag of beans or two. And you can use that code LOTS10, LOTS10 for 10% off. And Brian always does free shipping. It's a great deal. So check that out. Get yourself a couple pounds of coffee, splurge on it, give it a try, just taste the difference, and maybe there'll be room in that budget for moving on with some better end coffee. And if you get a little heartburn when you drink that coffee, it might be gone if you try air roasted. So give that a shot someday soon, and tell them Brian sent you. Use that code. Other than that, let's just move on. I just haven't talked about Food Forest Farms a whole lot lately, and I thought I would because I've just been enjoying the coffee a lot this week, and it was on my mind. Let's get to that Bitcoin guessing game. Excuse me. Got my price tracker up in the corner if you're watching the video replay, and got it plugged in this week, and then it's back up with our indicator light. We got green. We are up for the day. Not much, just 0.5%, but Bitcoin price on May 25th, 2026 at 6:07 a.m. is $77,345. $77,345 price of Bitcoin on May 25th, 2026. Let's see the guesses in the guessing contest. You can see up over my shoulder there, 84,321 was my guess. It is not even close. Not even close. Took a dive down after last week's little pump. Other guesses we had out there, John Palmer was even further off. John Palmer guessed $87,654.32. I see what you did there, John. 876-5432. Chris Dixon, 73,789, a little far off, but in the other direction. Blueberry, Texas, 74,500. Pip in with the guess of $74,973.77. Scrambling, close, but no cigar. Scrambling guessed is 79,100. And our winner this week, pretty close, not a bad guess at all. Thesia Ellis in with the guess of 76,500. Congratulations, Thesia, on winning absolutely nothing. I'm going to stick with that same guess. It's on the board. I'm just going to leave it there and roll with it. 84,321 for next week. If you want to get in on the guessing game and grab bragging rights over in the Telegram chat, head on over to t.me/lotschat. That's t.me/lotschat. Join the group, say hello, find the pinned message, make your guess for next week's Bitcoin price at about this time next Monday morning. The Telegram group. I really enjoy that Telegram group and all the great people over there. We talk about all sorts of stuff, and I would definitely keep up with the cabin progress pretty much every day that we go out and do some work, either posting pictures or giving an update. And everybody always throwing in memes there, joking about stuff, talking about serious stuff, get shit done crew for sure over there in the chat. We'd love to have you if you listen to the show. Even if you don't listen to the show, come on over to join us, t.me. That's the letter t.me/lotschat. If you don't use Telegram, you've never used Telegram, check it out. It's a cool little app. You can do it on your desktop or on your phone, and follow up with a bunch of great people. So again, congratulations, Thesia, on winning absolutely nothing. Let's get going on my topic list over here. So I mentioned last week that Corey and I's anniversary was coming up this week. 10 years married. Actually 18 years that we've been together, so been a while, been a hot minute since we met and started this crazy adventure. Corey posted over on her Facebook this past week a kind of little synopsis of what we've done since we've been together, and the ride that we've been on and where we're at now. And it started back when we met. We were in the suburbs, like the first ring suburbs right outside Minneapolis. We bought a house there, ended up selling that, moved to a farm out in about 90 miles from the city, built up a little homestead, and we're getting really close to being self-sufficient there, and decided that we hated the cold weather in Minnesota. So we took a couple of years and retrofitted an RV to be off-grid capable. Traveled around for a bit, boondock for a winter in Texas, and kind of did some exploring and trying to figure out where we wanted to do the homestead thing again. Try to go towards self-sufficiency, but do it in a more conducive climate for doing that, and someplace to do it long term as we get older. And we had realized that Minnesota it was so hard in the winter that as we were going to get older, it was just going to get harder. And so we decided we had to move. And so right now we're still in that RV, but we settled down in Tennessee. We're not traveling anymore, and been working on an off-grid property, building the cabin by hand, and going to be going into solar and rainwater catch and all sorts of off-grid self-sufficient projects. So that's what we got going on over the last 10 years. And really, she said it in her post, and it's my thoughts exactly. I wouldn't want to be doing this with anybody else. Corey is definitely the love of my life, and man, we just kind of click. And she calls me on my bullshit, which is something that I need, and I think I do the same for her. And we both keep each other in check, and we're happy with each other. And we've often talked about the fact that people talk about how much work it is to be in a relationship, and how much work it is, and this and that, and we're like, it really, it doesn't seem that it needs to be, that if you're with the right person, it happens naturally. So 10 years married, but that 18 years together has probably been the best 18 years that I've had in my life. So I appreciate her. And well, she takes the week off around our anniversary, and we there's a couple reasons for that. We have had, and it seems to, knock on wood, it seems to have been broken this year, at least for 1 year, but we often have shitty events. I guess I would say shitty events happen on our anniversary. It started way back on our first wedding anniversary. Corey's grandparent died. I lost my job. Had some rough interactions with a neighbor. That all happened on our first anniversary. Another year, a couple of years ago, a day before our anniversary, we had to put our dog down. Man, has there been other stuff over the years? I can't think of all the bad. We try to forget the bad, but over the years, it seems this week, within a day before the day of or the day after our anniversary, we just really we get socked with some sort of bad news or bad juju, or something happens. And so Corey takes the week off just in case. This year it was good. We had a good week. We spent the week out at the cabin pretty much every day. I think we took one day off we went to town, did our normal town errands, running groceries and doing laundry. Corey went with me to the laundromat. I was hoping she would get to experience some of the chaos of the laundromat, but man, it was really empty. It was actually pretty empty the whole time we were there, and we actually had to sit outside because the air conditioner was broken at the laundromat. So you can imagine what the temperature inside was with all the dryers running, the humidity from the dryers, and it was fairly warm and humid outside that day. So it was pretty rough inside, but we hung out outside and actually walked across the street for a anniversary margarita. And she gave me an idea. Now we actually have a Mexican restaurant here in town, and they have another location that's across the street from the laundromat we go to in the other town, about 20 minutes away. And now that we've walked across and had lunch margaritas during laundry, I was like, maybe I should have been doing this every week instead of just sitting there waiting for the dryer to end. But I told her I guess it was only a special occasion type of thing when she's with. So, but we did that. But other than that, I think we pretty much spent the whole week working on the cabin. Had goals for the week, knowing that she was off. We were going to get several days. Had some goals that we set. I wanted to have all the metal trim done for the cabin. I think last week I talked about finishing up the sheet metal. We got the one end done. Got the end of the cabin done with all the windows, which completed all the sheet metal. So that was all done. So basically we had trim to do. wanted to get that done, and it was iffy if it was going to happen. We had some pretty crappy weather in the forecast. It was supposed to be rainy all week. A lot of that trim was out right under the roof edge, where if it rains at all, even if it's sprinkling and it's okay to work in, the water running off the roof right where you got to work is pretty is a lot, even with a light rain. So wasn't really sure how fast it was going to go, how many days we're actually going to get to work. We did end up getting to work all week. I don't think we really had a rain day where we had to not work. We had stuff to do that we could do when it rained, under the covered porch. We had to finish that all out. So we did have options if it rained. The goal of getting all the trim done did fall short of that. Still, as of last night, we had everything done except the gable trim. So the trim on the edge of the roof, the metal roof, on the peaked ends. I got I think there's 4 pieces on each end. So 8 pieces total is what we got left to do. Shouldn't be all that horrible. It is something where we have to use the scaffolding, and then for the peaks we need to throw ladder up on the scaffolding. So it does get kind of shady getting way up there in the air, but I think we'll get that done next weekend. Corey decided, and I don't blame her. She's staying home today, taking that last day of vacation and relaxing. She's got some things to do around here. I got some things to do around here, and after a week of not being on the computer or doing anything, I got some catch up to do. So we're gonna put that off and probably get that done next weekend, and then we'll be moving on to the floor. But as far as the trim goes, it went well. It was slow going. It was frustrating. The window trim that I had done, that we did before we put the sheet metal up, basically I was able to find a YouTube video on how to exactly do it. Watch the video, do it once or twice, and it was the same, and it was repeated over and over 10 times. And so I got pretty good at that. The trim that went really fast, the eave trim along the one side, basically, that covers the top of the metal underneath the edge of the roof, that went well. Once figured out how to kind of get it set and where to screw it in, went smooth, went fast, got that all done. And then we got to the porch, and the porch was slow. It was slow going for sure. One thing we had to do, we had to enclose the truss. We decided we were going to enclose the truss that is kind of exposed on the covered porch. So had been thinking about how to do that for quite a while. Took basically a day and framed that in and kind of started to trim it out. It was a lot of thinking and planning and really taking the pieces and holding them up and deciding which way they needed to be oriented, how to cut them, how to bend them, how to finish them. And same with pretty much the whole porch. We were using trim that I hadn't worked with before. Basically, well, I hadn't really worked with any of it before, but it wasn't the standard J channel that I had really watched a lot of videos on. And looking for videos on doing what we were doing wasn't really, I don't want to say it wasn't an option, but there aren't a whole lot of videos on things. Good morning, Digger. Thanks for stopping in. There weren't a whole lot of videos out there on kind of what we were doing, because not a whole lot of people do it, and it's not really standard practice. And it was more just kind of figure it out. Watch other videos on other trim techniques and extrapolate them out for what we needed. So that's why it was slow going. I think that's why we probably fell short of our goal, but did end up getting all the interior of the porch done, and then that whole long side, other long side, got the eave trim up and everything, and it looks pretty good. I think for novice, for never doing it before, it turned out pretty well. There are some spots that I know and I've noticed that just slight little inconsistencies, I guess, or little bit errors, or things just didn't line up because we didn't know what we were doing from the beginning, and everything kind of extrapolates out. So that's I told Corey it's probably going to bother me for every day, every time I see it for the rest of it, for the rest of the time we're there. She said it is what it is, and don't worry about it. And so I'm gonna try to get over that, but yeah, there's few places where I was like, that's a little off, and I wish it wasn't, because it would really look nice if it wasn't. But it looks good. I'm satisfied with the job. I'm not gonna tear anything out by any means and start over, so it'll be all right. Along with that, we really like that porch. So Corey, when we were designing the cabin, decided that she wanted enclosed, or not enclosed, covered porch. If you haven't been listening, basically we put up a pole barn roof and then hung a floor about 4 foot up, and then put the walls up. Well, instead of just making it a rectangle, we took and cut the wall in to make the interior space like a U, and then in the center we have an 8x16 covered porch that's under the roof, so that's outside. Since we've been enclosing everything, and since we've got to sit out there and spend some time out there, we really like it. I'm excited. I'm happy that she decided that that's what she wanted, and the size is appropriate. She had a little pushback with the builder. Not a little pushback. It was just, that's going to cost you a little extra money to do it that way. And we weighed the cost, and Corey said it's well worth it. And I'm glad she did, because sitting out there, it's really nice. But we wanted to get furniture out there. One thing is we want to sit out there and we want to use it. And two, if needed, we can pull some of the furniture inside and use it inside. So Corey started searching locally. It really didn't look like there was a whole lot of places to find it. Maybe Lowe's had a little bit of outdoor furniture. So she went hunting on Amazon. And you're like, well, man, Amazon for furniture? How the hell did they deliver that? It came in boxes. She ordered a couple different sets. Was able to really match well to the color of the metal and the trim. It just looks nice, and I think the tones of the color, the shades of the color that we picked, the gray and the charcoal for the metal, lends itself well to matching when you buy black or gray furniture. That's what color they were, right? Black.
Yeah, one of them black and gray, and the other one's just two-tone gray.
One of them's black and gray, and one of them's two-tone gray. So I'm not the best with colors, so I wanted to check with that. But those came in this week, and Corey spent 2 days while I was busting my head over the trim. She was kind of helping me when I needed help holding things, but in the times where I was just thinking and figuring out and making test cuts and things like that, she was putting together furniture. So she got to use the little Allen wrench and put together all the patio furniture. And she finished up right kind of before I got done with the porch trim. And we cleared off the porch and we put the furniture out there, and it's the patio's done. Like, I guess we have one little tiny piece of trim that I'm not sure what to do or how to use or what to use or how to finish it. But other than that, and that's purely cosmetic. And it is what it is. But other than that, it's done. And we sat down out there and looked at it, and I like it. I like it. I kind of want to just move out there and sit on the porch. But yeah, that's not really an option. But yeah, it's done, and now we can move to the inside once we get that gable trim done. We're going to go ahead and move on into the inside and lay down some vinyl sheet flooring. We've decided to go with the roll, not the plank vinyl, but the linoleum sheet vinyl, and get that down. And then once that's down and the subfloor is protected, we'll be able to start bringing the dogs out with us and start spending a little longer time out there, either longer just in a day or spend multiple days and spend the night there and get a lot more progress done and hopefully accelerate the project and get out there full time quicker. Also made a decision this week that we are going to move our solar equipment. The plan originally was to have batteries and inverter and everything in the cabin. We were going to build a cabinet in the living room space and decided that we wanted to get that out of there for multiple reasons. One was floor space, one was noise, one was the added heat that comes off of that. It's not a ton, but it is enough. But I mean, the biggest factor was the floor space. So we decided that we're going to build a little utility shed. It will house both the solar equipment and then the water pumps, and it'll be located over by the bulk water storage and kind of separated. So one half will be solar, inverter, batteries, and things like that, and an expansion of that. Maybe some other electrical equipment, depending on what we get into and how we want to run things. And then we'll just run AC over to the cabin, a short distance into a panel. On the other side will be the water booster pump from the tanks, and then that will run also to the house. So basically, take the utility infrastructure and move it into a shed next to the cabin instead of having it in. So shouldn't be a horrible project. Building a small shed will be easy after all the building we've done so far, and getting that in there, and it really it seems like it's going to open up a lot of floor space for us, and it also opens up some different options for the battery type we were going to use, because I had picked batteries based on limited floor space, and they were a little more expensive at the time, and I haven't really price checked them recently, but being able to move to a different type of battery, because we'll have a little more room and not be so concerned about the floor space, opens up different options. So that's kind of update on the cabin. Like I said, we're staying home today. This week I get out there and get back out into the food forest and really working on the things that I put off this week to get as much cabin work done as we could while Corey was off. So play catch up there, and then back up onto the gable trim next weekend, and we'll go from there. So it's feeling good. It'll be relief once we get that floor down and we can start staying out there a little bit and spending some weekends out there and spending more time. The more time we spend out there, the more time we want to spend out there, which motivates us to work even harder to get there. So excited about that. So that's pretty much our anniversary week. We spent it working. Corey spent it on vacation working on her vacation. So, but I think she was happy. To be doing that type of work. So. What else happened this week? Thomas Massie. Anybody follow the Thomas Massie primary in Kentucky? Let's see. Where do I start with this? I'm not a voter. I'm not a believer in the political system. I'm not a real believer in especially on the federal level. I think they're all corrupt. I think it's just it's a show, and they're going to do what they want regardless. But Thomas Massie was one of the few politicians that I actually respected. He'd been around. Is from Kentucky. The guy lives off grid. He built his house. He has a farm. He runs on solar. He walks the walk of someone that that kind of lives the lifestyle that we are choosing to live. And he was a very principled guy. He said what he meant. If he said it, he stuck by it. Didn't matter what way the wind blew. He kept his opinions. It ended up having him vote with his party, against his party. It didn't matter to him. He was representing his constituents, and when he said, "This is what I stand for, and this is what I believe in," it didn't matter who it upset. He believed that he was elected because of his stance and what he said, and he followed through with that, regardless of pressure. And from what it looks like, just from the outside, and I kind of paid attention to this one because I did respect Massie and that he kind of stood his ground on a lot of things that I believe in, lack of surveillance and food freedom and several other issues. But he rubbed some people the wrong way, namely the president, and some of the president's supporters. And so they ended up, whoever they is, ended up spending a shitload of money in Kentucky. You can browse online and find out who they is that spent a shitload of money in Kentucky, basically campaigning against him, because they don't like him. It's from what I gather. He didn't agree with the party lines. He didn't toe the party lines, or the people that are setting the party lines, and he got beat in the primary. Now, I hope Thomas Massie, after getting beat, goes and lives on his farm and lives out his days and stays as far away from politics as he can. I think I think he earned that peace in his life. I don't know. He might have other political aspirations going forward, but basically there was more money spent in that primary than had ever been. The voter turnout was, I think it was like 600% more, it doubled. The voter turnout doubled. The amount spent on the campaign of his opponent was 600 times what normally is spent in a primary in Kentucky. So there was obviously a concerted effort to get people to oust him. Good morning, Rachel. Rewilder Life stopping in and saying seats for sale, highest bidder. Yeah, basically, and that's the crux of it. Whether it's Massie or anybody else, I think as someone like myself that views the system as corrupt, that views the system as broken, and everything that it's not supposed to be, this is a microcosm of that because the people in charge didn't like what he had to say, they just dumped money in it and figured out a way to basically buy him out of office because he had disagreed. I think we were supposed to be able to disagree. I think I think that was the whole point of the system. So being able to just buy the seats is one more nail in the coffin for our beautiful government that we have. I don't know. I don't know what happens going forward. It'll be interesting to see. I think a lot of the MAGA people, the pro Trump people are kind of getting disillusioned with his kind of flip flopping and not really pursuing the things that he ran on, the things that got them all excited, that excited the MAGA people, the no more endless wars and no high gas prices and on and on and on. And he kind of went exactly opposite of that. So it'll be interesting to see how that base reacts moving forward. It was interesting to look at one of the things I was seeing about the Massie primary was the age breakdown, the voting by age breakdown, and basically the people that the boomers, the quote boomers, were who voted him out. He did really well with the younger voters, and even into the people that are in their 40s and 50s, and then above that were basically who was mobilized by by his opponents. They really played into the fear factors and the obedience and ran some I mean, strategic and successful campaign to get him ousted. So it'll be interesting to see. I've seen a lot of groups pop up right now, people leaving the MAGA movement, and where do they land? Where does this go? They can come and hang out with us in the non-voting and but think it's complete bullshit, but I don't see that happening. I see Joe Jorgensen really pushing hard to pull the disillusioned Massie supporters into the Libertarian Party, and I mean, there's something to be said for that. But there's a saying that I heard a while ago. An anarchist is just a libertarian that hasn't what is it? What the difference between a libertarian and an anarchist is about 6 months. So go check out the Libertarian Party and then end up a little further. So we will see how that goes, but it was frustrating to see what happened to Massie. So, but good for him. I hope he's out on his farm. I hope he's taking care of his chickens and cattle and just hangs out and enjoys the rest of his life, because he did a good job. He was one of the few that I can say stood his ground and was really principled. So sorry to see him go, but we'll see. What else this week? Yesterday was big news in the war with Iran. All of a sudden, the president and was it yesterday that the president and the vice president was racing back to let's see, rewild their lips. It says parallel societies. She says, hey, L's turn into A's, see you in a year or two. Right. I don't even know if it's going to take a year or two anymore. I think that timeline is absolutely accelerated with the shenanigans that have been going on over the last let's see, what year is it now? Been going on over the last like 5 to 10 years. So we'll see. But yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, my Facebook feed, when we got home from the cabin, sit down, kind of catching up on what's going on in the world. And my feed was full of the vice president racing back to the White House and Secretary of War or whoever. A bunch of people, cabinet members, were racing back to the White House. The president was coming back from his vacation early, I guess, and people really weren't sure what was going on. That was either a sign that that there was going to be some big action, or maybe the end of action. And I don't know. I haven't heard a whole lot over the week about what's going on there. I think they're in a ceasefire, in a peace negotiations. I mean, the war is still going on, but not really. I don't know. I tried to not pay attention, but all of a sudden, I see post upon post, shared post of that a peace agreement is basically done. That they had a conference with several Middle Eastern nations. That there was a framework in place. That everything was a go, and there should be a peace deal within 24 hours. Very believable, I guess, from the sources and how it came out. Markets reacted, and that's something we've talked about in weeks prior. Markets reacted. I'm sure some folks made some money. There was enough time for oil futures to drop, for the markets to react, and then all of a sudden, it sounds like Israel said, "This isn't going to work for us," and the deal blew up. Supposedly it's still being worked on, but basically Israel says, we're not going to agree to not fight in the Middle East. Weird. It's been going on for generations. And they blew up the deal, and back to the drawing board. We will see. I don't know why we're still there. I don't know why we went in the first place. Basically, it's caused pain for the American people that really, especially the people that voted. And it's amazing to see the change in attitude of the people that voted for Trump, that said, no new wars, get us out of Afghanistan, get us out of the Middle East, get us out, no new wars. And then now, basically, if you say anything against what he's doing there or why we're there, you get the standard. It's a small price to pay for Iran not having nuclear weapons. That's definitely a common theme. There's just a few lines that you see over and over when you see people pushing back to why we're in Iran, the effects that it's having on me and you and everybody in this country, and then all the corruption at the top that's happening, where folks are using, I would say, I don't want to say fake announcements. They're real announcements, but people with insider knowledge are using the manipulation of markets to make money on news that comes out. And it's getting a little ridiculous that there's always a news, there's an announcement, a reaction, and then an opposite announcement right after. Basically, head fakes. And in the meantime, as the markets, as the oil futures, as the stock market, as places where people can make money react, certain individuals that seem to have known what was going to happen are raking in cash. So the haves and the no's nots are really battling in this one. And then there's a bunch of parrots out there that are supporting things that what is it, 2 years ago when he was running were diametrically opposed to it. So I don't know how long it's going to last. It's scary when people ask the president about how long this conflict's going to last, and he basically talks about Vietnam. He basically talks about long conflicts in U.S. history. And is that what he's targeting? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be around that long. I hope he's done in his 2 years. There is a growing concern, and I don't know how legitimate the concern is that he's going to decide to just not leave office. I think that's something that the opposing side frets about. I remember when Obama was in office, there was a large faction of conservatives that thought he was never going to leave office, and so I don't think this is a new thought, but man, the way things go, and his I don't know what the word really is, but the way he acts, he might believe it. He might believe that he's entitled to just stay and keep ruling because he's the best. He's the best there's ever been. Just ask him. Anyway, no peace in the Middle East yet as of last night after a promising announcement that things were going to be taken care of. So we will see how that goes this week, if anything comes of it. Yeah, we're just still paying a shitload for gas here, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go down anytime soon. I don't think that the drop in oil futures happened long enough and is not stable enough to actually to drive gas prices down here. So, but president says when this is over, we will see the lowest gas prices we've ever seen. So we will see. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, something else that went on this weekend a long time ago. Man, it's probably I would have to guess at least a year ago. Yeah, probably a year ago. I talked to you guys about something that had popped up on my radar that I thought was an interesting event that was being planned. Wasn't really official or anything, but it was coming up. Was the Enhanced Games. And basically what the Enhanced Games was touted to be the steroid Olympics. An organized sporting event like the Olympics. So you're gonna have swimming and track and field and all the things that are in the Olympics. But the promoters basically said, we don't give a shit if you use steroids, if you use PEDs, performance enhancing drugs of any kind. Do it to it. Let's see the limits of the human body, not naturally, but the limits with artificial help. Interesting idea. Back when I was reading about it, it was still in the works, in the planning stages, and I kind of had, I mean, why not? As someone that thinks you can do whatever the hell you want, and as long as you're not hurting someone, go to it. If you want to pump yourself full of steroids and go lift as much weights as you can, or swim as fast as you can, or run as fast as you can, have at her. I think it would make for pretty entertaining, some pretty entertaining things, events. But I also realize that a lot of folks, a lot of people that are competing in these things anyway, in the non-enhanced games, are enhancing themselves, and they're just finding a way to cheat the system. So I thought it was just an interesting idea, an interesting concept. Like I said, I didn't know if it was going to actually happen, or if it was just somebody's pipe dream that they were going to kind of get funded and promote it, and it never really came to fruition. But this past weekend was the first of the Enhanced Games, held in Las Vegas. Let me get my notes here. Athletes were openly allowed to use performance enhancing drugs under medical supervision. So that was one thing that is a benefit of this, is because it's out in the open, because they're not trying to hide it. They also require medical supervision in the use of the drugs and testing to see the effects of what they're taking and how it's affecting them. Organizers say the goal is human optimization and transparency instead of pretending elite sports are clean already. Basically mentioned that so many people get stung for PEDs, for steroids, and everybody's like, oh my god, I can't believe it's happening. Well, for everybody that's caught, there's definitely people that aren't getting caught that just figured out how to cheat better. Critics say it's dangerous, dystopian, and basically pharmaceutical marketing disguised as sports. I don't know. I don't know how many kids are watching the enhanced games going, man, where can I get myself some of them steroids? I think if they have that competitive nature and they want that edge, it's going to happen or not with whether there's enhanced games or not. So I don't know about that. Greek swimmer Christian, no way pronouncing that last name. A Greek swimmer swam a 50-meter freestyle faster than the official world record. And the whole thing, I guess in the beginning of this was the organizers were saying, if you can juice and you can beat the official world record, we'll give you $1 million bonus on top of whatever they receive for competing. He swam the 50 freestyle faster than the official world record, got his $1 million bonus, but obviously it won't count officially as a world record because he was able to juice, and it looks like they also got to wear the performance enhancing swimsuits that are banned in the Olympics. I don't know what the technology in those is, but it says there was banned suits that they were wearing. So basically, I think we're going to end up with two sets of records: the clean, the quote unquote clean world records, if you can believe that they're all clean, and then the people that come out and say, yeah, I'm juicing and this is what we can do. I don't think they really got the results that they were hoping for. The we're going to shatter every record known to man. Wilder says former competitor athlete, the bodybuilders are totally almost all juiced. They also live pretty short lives. Yeah, since the 90s, I think that in bodybuilding that's been legal, just out in the open. And yeah, it definitely shortens lives. And I don't know if they're going to have, I saw somebody comment that, are they having the tiny ball competition at the enhanced games too, to see who can shrivel their nuts up as much as possible with the steroids. But I don't think the results were as good as they had hoped, and maybe that's because it's at the beginning of this. Former Olympic swimmer James Magnuson came out of retirement for it, but reportedly failed to break the big records that they had hyped up. He didn't quite do as good as he had hoped. Sprinter Fred Curley won the 100-meter despite all the hype about superhuman performances. Ironically, several clean athletes reportedly beat the enhanced competitors in some events. So even though these guys are juicing, there's people that are just better even without PEDs. So I don't know if it's going to work out as well as they'd hoped. We'll see. Attendance looked much smaller than the massive cultural moment promoters were promising. Reports describe crowds mostly made up of influencers, the athlete's family, and curiosity watchers. Curiosity watchers. Well, yeah, I mean, go check this out. It was in Vegas too, so a circus being in Vegas is not unusual. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. We'll see where it goes. The world is really starting to look like and feel like some of those movies that you see about the future. Robots, AI, juiced up humans. I can't wait to get in the woods and just live by myself well, I guess live with my beautiful bride and our dogs. We'll be good when we get there. So I don't know. Anybody got any big plans for Memorial Day? You got barbecues going on. I don't know if that usually happens on the weekend. I don't know. Corey and I basically every day is every day, another day, and we're just gonna do our thing today. Said we're gonna stay home and hang out here, get caught up on some stuff because we really put a lot of time in out at the cabin over the last week, and she goes back to work tomorrow. So give her a little bit of relaxation at some point today, hopefully. Other than that, I think I might wrap up just a touch early today, guys, and get rolling. Rewilda, she's got planting, clearing land, and campfire. Nice. That sounds like a good day. Oh, I think this week, probably get my biochar reactor set up finally. We finally got some rain to where I'm feeling comfortable running a burn cycle in it to as a test burn, because you don't really know how it's going to go on that first test and without running water. And things were pretty crispy where we're at. We've got a lot of rain in the last week or so. So I think there's some spots out there that I'll be able to set up and feel comfortable making a run on that. And I also have did a bunch of clearing for the solar field. A lot left to go, but a lot of clearing that I have feedstock for a test run on that biochar. So hopefully this week I get it set up. Maybe next weekend while we're out there working, we can light off a batch and keep an eye on it and see how that goes. Excited to get that going, but it was too dry and too iffy to move forward with that. And now that we've got a little bit of rain and a little bit better conditions, I think we'll give that a try. Yeah. Digger says he's gardening and opening the pool. That sounds like a good day. I mean, my audience is doing exactly what we'll be doing, minus opening the pool, but the gardening, clearing land, campfires, that's my kind of stuff. And I'm glad you guys are around. I'm gonna wrap it up and get going here, guys, and spend the day with my beautiful wife before she heads back to work. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a good Memorial Day. I hope you hope everybody gets done what they need to. Have a great week, and we will catch up with you next Monday.